Howdy neighbors, thanks for joining me today here at Cedar Creek Homestead, and appreciate you joining in with me. And today's subject is about the toilet paper shortage. If you've followed your news lately, there seems to be a rush on toilet paper. And before we get started, also today at the end of the video, we're going to announce our winners of our 25,000 subscriber giveaway. Before we get started, if you aren't a subscriber, if you'd like to help our channel out, it would help us greatly if you'd subscribe. Also, if you give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and also comment on the video. You're welcome to share the videos too. We also stream this over on Facebook, so we appreciate all of our Facebook viewers. We also try to on Twitter, so whichever way you're watching. But on our YouTube, we have reached a 25,000 subscriber milestone, so we appreciate that. And but if you'd like to help us out, it would greatly help us. So we're going to get right on into today's subject, and that is about the toilet paper shortage. People are panicking, and because we're going into another shutdown, people are panicking and buying toilet paper. From what I've been able to find out so far, the toilet paper factories are running full board, full blast. Now they could go into shutdowns like they did. All the companies had shutdowns back when we first had this COVID pandemic breakout, and the thing is coming back again. And they believe right after Thanksgiving, the experts say they believe there's going to be an overwhelming surge of the virus, which would cause companies to shut down. I'm just telling you what I hear and the way that I see that they're saying. So people are going out. Also, a lot of cities are going into lockdowns, and they're not allowing anything but essential traffic. Also, a lot of folks are afraid to go into the stores and stuff unless just absolutely necessary. So for some reason, it appears to be before anything else, everybody's panicking over toilet paper. But you can survive, I want to say, without toilet paper. There are alternatives to toilet paper. But from my understanding is right now, all the plants, all the manufacturing is full blown, really going right now trying to make all the toilet paper they can, but there just is not enough supply because people are stocking it up. And as you can tell, I have stocked up too. Now I want to say something about us stocking up toilet paper. This did not happen just overnight. Our toilet paper, tubs of toilet paper, and this, we probably have half a year or year's supply worth of toilet paper put back. But we did not do it just like that. We started 10 or 12 years ago becoming preppers, so we have prepped stuff back over time. So you don't need this much. I mean, you can survive, and we're just having a little bit, but prep some back, and we're going to talk about that here today. But you don't always have to have just tons of stuff put back, because I couldn't afford to just go out and do it all at once. Maybe you can, but now it's not available to do it if you wanted to stock it up. But way before they ever started doing toilet paper, people had to have other means to clean their backsides. And my dad's generation of stuff talked about the Sears Roebuck catalogs, the Montgomery Ward catalogs, and how they couldn't wait for those to get here because they had some more toilet paper. And they'd keep them out in the outhouses next to the toilet there, and they would read those, look through Dream Wish Book, a lot of times they called it, wishing for things they had. So a lot of the pages were tore out because they had been used for toilet paper. So in an emergency, there's always, I've got here a Sportsman's Guide catalog. You can tear a page out of the Sportsman's Guide catalog. Bass Pro, man, look what a lot of toilet paper you would have there. Is that stuff as good? No. Here's the Cell Flyer Bass Pro Northern Tool Catalog. You can take, and I mean, you got a lot of toilet paper there. Is this as absorbent and work as good as real toilet paper? No, it doesn't. But in a bind, it will work. And people managed for years and years without ever even having toilet paper. In fact, in the rural areas, it has not been that many years ago when the advent of toilet paper. And I can remember as children us running out. We didn't panic if we ran out of toilet paper. Mom and Dad would just say, get what we raised up on, the catalogs, or get an old catalog and put it in there by the toilet and y'all will have it. It hasn't been that many years ago when people still used outhouses here. And in fact, a lot of people still have outhouses here in this area, but they have modern indoor toiletry, but they have still keep the outhouses for emergencies, or if they're outside or something, or if they, whatever, they used outhouses. My grandfather, even though he had indoor toiletry, he preferred to use the outhouse, but that's because that's what he grew up with. One of my aunts was dating a boy, and my grandpa and them on the old home place where my dad was raised, they had built a lean-to, and they tell this old story about building that lean-to on so that they could have an inside toilet and an inside bathtub. And after they got that built, one of my aunts was dating a boy, and he'd come over and he'd normally eat with them. Well, this particular time he would not eat with them. And so my grandpa said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "You always get right up to the table here, and this is your favorite food and eat." He said, "Well, I was brought up, you don't eat and use the bathroom in the same house." So people, that's not been that many years ago when people, things was a lot more primitive. And toilet paper was a luxury item that only the rich people had. Back not very many, about quite a few years I guess now, but one of our janitors here at our local school, the teachers was complaining to him and kept having a fit that they wanted some better toilet paper. They wanted something a lot softer, like you buy at home, instead of the industrial grade toilet paper they had. So he went and got a bunch of corn cobs and put little baskets beside their toilets as a joke. And because at one time a lot of folks used the corn cobs. They also would throw them in their wood stoves and burn them to get the fire going good. So it's hard to imagine using a corn cob, but folks used what they had. And but anyway, he had put these baskets of corn cobs in next to the toilets, and so the teachers, they got a kick out of that, and a lot of them had been raised up on pretty primitive ways, and so they put up a big poster board, and they put little paper, the empty rolls of toilet paper, they put that on there, and each teacher had their name, and they decorated them up and like put little eyes and little eyebrows and little hair and stuff on them, and each one had their name as a funny gesture back to him, and put it up in the hall there at the school, just having some good old humor out of it. But anyway, there's so many alternatives to toilet paper, and before you get to the magazines and have to start using the magazines, there is other things you could use as well. There's baby wipes. Josie has a lot of these put back, and we use them for other things, but you could also, in an emergency, you can use these and for a lot of different things, but you could also use those for toilet paper. Kleenexes, paper towels you can use. So a lot of other alternatives until you get to this stuff that's the least desirable, just plain old paper out of a catalog. Well, I used to go to a church up in Missouri that they had outhouses. The churches, in fact, the ladies would carry flashlights in their purses, and if they had to go to the restroom, not very many use the restroom, but you'd see someone digging for a flashlight. It'd just be because after dark they need to go to the restroom, and they'd get a flashlight and go out there and use one of them old-timey outhouses. The church I attend now, it has not been that many years ago when they had outhouses there. And I can remember as a boy us going to church there, visiting from time to time, and they would have outhouses. So this modern-day idea of toilet paper, one of our last week I had a video on about prepping beans and rice, and one of our subscribers said she guessed that people were going to make Charmin casserole because for Thanksgiving, because all the toilet paper was sold out. And many have told me that their stores are just bare. The paper products are gone. And Walmart's, I don't know about Sam's Club. Somebody messaged me and said at Sam's Club right now you can still get the commercial type toilet paper. I know a lot of people don't like that kind of toilet paper. It's kind of rough and abrasive, not the best. It's not soft like Charmin. But before you had to go to this, that would work. So just think about that for a little bit. Also, another thing is rationing. If you're going into tough times and it's hard to get toilet paper, you might have to ration a little bit. Now, don't be like one a preacher friend of mine told me years ago that he had a couple come in and they he was real tight trying to save money, so he figured out how many squares a roll of toilet paper had of these. And so he had figured out that each member of the household only needed like 2 or 3 or 4 of these a day would be that amount of toilet paper. So the guy, him and his wife was going to get a divorce, and they wanted to come and talk to the pastor and get some counseling. And he said, well, what's some of your problems? And she said, well, sir, said, we have unreconcilable differences, me and my husband. He said, well, what is some of them? So, well, the biggest thing right now is toilet paper. We can only use 3 or 4 of these little squares a day of toilet paper. And he said they ended up getting a divorce over that was their biggest thing, but they ended up getting a divorce over that. So you don't have to be that sparingly, but instead of going, I don't know who does this, but doing that much, you know, maybe instead of wasting your toilet paper, you just do a moderate or a conservative amount of toilet paper and be kind of concerned, you know, be realizing that toilet paper is on short supply. So kind of being careful. Also, I was going to say, if you use this type of paper, you wouldn't want to flush it down your toilet. You'd want to put it in a waste paper basket and dispose of it properly that way. A lot of folks in the country that are on septics don't even put real toilet paper in their septic systems to keep from filling up the septic too quickly. They put it in a waste paper basket. So just something to be aware of there if you have to go to these means. One thing we do is stock up, like I had said earlier, about in toilet paper, and we store them. We got 3 or 4 of these totes with toilet paper for our emergency supply. We keep a few of these just for normal use, but we always got plenty of toilet paper. One thing that got me started stocking toilet paper is my aunt lived right down the road here. And she kind of helped raise us kids and stuff, but they had a little lean-to thing on the end of their home that was a business, and they had an upholstery business. And up on the upper shelf here, they had a shelf went all the way around on that one side, and it was all had toilet paper all the way down through there, and big packages kind of like this. And so one time as a kid, I remember asking my aunt why she had so much toilet paper, and she said, well, we may not have food to eat, but we will have clean heinies. And as a kid, that's always stuck with me, that she was worried about running out of toilet paper. She'd been raised up with an outhouse with the Sears Roebuck and catalog and stuff, and she did not want to have to go back to that, so she had plenty of toilet paper stocked up. She had plenty of food too. And the one thing I want to get at, don't get your priorities mixed up and worry about prepping toilet paper when you make sure you have plenty of food to eat, and then you can worry about this, because there are a lot of alternatives that you can do. But when you're storing toilet paper like this, if you're going to store this out somewhere where mice, rats, anything like that could possibly get into it, they'll chew through this plastic and get in there and tear your toilet paper up. Before you do that, just as a precaution, you could store it in totes. And what I do, or have made a mistake of, I got some out here a while back that was 10-year-old toilet paper. I took it out of this plastic because you can get more in to a tote like this. The problem that happens is it starts deteriorating and it's real powdery. It just was real flaky and stuff. It was good name brand toilet paper, but it was very, it had begun to disintegrate. So I don't know how well it would use. You could probably rotate your toilet paper like you do canned goods and stuff like that. But I just put a few totes like this, 3 or 4 up high in the, like out here in the shop, got them up here high just for an extreme emergency. Otherwise, we keep 3 or 4 or 5 of these put back. And then you always have toilet paper. You don't have to worry about if they run out at the store. That'll last us for a long time. But if we had to, in extreme measures, we would go. Now, we didn't just do all this overnight. It's been a number of years that we have prepped and been able to get our supplies put back. So, we don't have the money just to run out. Even if it was available, we wouldn't have the money to just go out and buy everything at once. So we've had to take quite a few years to build our supplies and get things ready here at our homestead here. So I don't want you to just run out and panic buy and think you're just going to go get it all at once. But it holds up better if you'll leave it in the packaging. We also like this Scott 1000. And you can order this also through Amazon, Walmart. Look for good values though. They'll ship it to you for free, but you want to be careful because some of this, sometimes you'll pay way too much. But if you can get a pretty good deal and them ship it to you and to your front door, and you've got it there without having to go and fight the crowds. A lot of folks are afraid to go to the stores because they don't want to fight the crowds. Right now it's holiday season too, and going to be a lot of people out shopping, and some folks don't want to wear a mask because they just don't like wearing them, so it's like just won't even go. If they do go, they'll wear a mask, but the mask bother them. There's different things. Also, having plenty of toilet paper, you never know when you might be quarantined, and you might come down with the virus, be diagnosed as a carrier of the virus, and they tell you got to quarantine for 10 days. You can't go anywhere. You wouldn't want to call friends or anyone and say, bring me stuff. I know people do that, and they'll say, bring it and just leave it on my front porch and call me and let me know you left it. That way when there's no interaction. That's okay to do that. But instead of having to worry about that, if you got a little bit put back, you ain't got to worry and go to the store. And you never know when you might have a case of RIE, rapid intestinal evacuation, and if that should happen, you may need a little extra toilet paper. So having it on hand is always a good thing to have, and just common sense preparedness is what we try to present here on our channel. Also want to say something here, just tell you a little funny story. Way back years ago, everyone had radios, and everybody's having them in their cars and stuff. So my dad, we'd go down the road and he'd pretend on the radio that he was talking to me, and I'd be over in the passenger seat, as a little kid, and I'd pretend I had me a radio, and we would talk back to each other, and he'd say, his handle was that he'd say, this is Chief Dirty Hiney from No Swap 'em Tribe. So anyway, I'd say, this is Rubber Ducky, this is Howie the Rubber Ducky, and so forth, and we'd talk back and forth. Well, one day we were on our way to town, me and my mom and sisters, and I said, Mom, can I see if Dad's listening on the radio where I could talk to him? And she said, yeah. Mom didn't even know how to turn the radio on. Didn't even probably know if I knew how to turn the radio on. But I turned it on, and I get the mic, and I say, come in, Marine 2, which was my dad's handle. So I say, Marine 2, do you have a copy? So he come on there, and he says, yes, go ahead. And he said, who is this? And I said, this is Chief Dirty Hiney from No Swap 'em Tribe. So anyway, we got a pretty good laugh out of that. And my dad, though, his boss didn't think it was too funny. And everybody that was there in the building heard what was being said, and so he wasn't very pleased. Thankfully, my dad's boss was his brother, so he didn't get in too bad of trouble. But when Dad come home, he instructed me on proper etiquette on talking on the radio. But nonetheless, you don't want to be a part of the no swipe 'em tribe. You need to be able to properly clean yourself and have stuff put back that you can have. So just some helpful ideas. I hope this will help you. And oh, another thing you might want to prep back to is feminine hygiene products. They ain't going to talk about that a whole lot, but the ladies know what I'm talking about. But that's something to consider, and you never know when you might have guests over, so just that you have some stuff put back just in case for that in an emergency. All right, we're going to get right on in here today to our winners, and we have hit 25,000 subscriber milestone. In fact, as tonight, before I come out to do this video, it looked like we were hitting around 26,000. So I want to say to all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You've been such a blessing to us. So many of you, I feel like, are just family. We've hit over 1 million views. And several milestones that we've hit here lately, and so we just want to say thank you for that. And we're climbing. Our viewership is really climbing up, really big here lately. In a 30-day period now, we're hitting way over 200,000 views in a 30-day period, and that is just on YouTube, not to mention Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. So you've helped make this possible. I never thought this would be possible. I got into this to try to help folks and to be part of the homesteading community, and so we do. We're homesteading preppers, so kind of a mixture in that community. Most homesteaders I know are kind of preppers because we live out in the country and stuff, and we have to prepare. But y'all have allowed us to be part of that community. A lot of you don't make videos or anything like that, but you like to watch the videos. And a lot of you, I've gotten to where I know your little call tag there. I know who you are. I mean, you're every week you're commenting something, and it really is a blessing to me. And I try to do a heart back to you, at least a heart and a thumbs up on every video, that every comment that I read, I try to do that. And it's been being a challenge to, when I first started, I tried to comment on all the comments that did the first comments of the videos. Now that's impossible to do, but I do try to go through and read everything, put thumbs up and a heart. And some of you, it'll tell me that you have had a record number of hearts, the ones that's always getting hearts. I mean, some of you have had a bunch of them because you're just faithful, and we certainly appreciate that. And if you're not a subscriber, you'd like to hit us out, help us out, well, hit that subscribe button. While you're there, the little bell icon will pop up. If you click on that, then you'll be notified when we upload videos. Also, giving us a thumbs up, comment, and all of that helps. You can share the videos, and we certainly appreciate it. A lot of you now have become friends of mine, but I haven't ever even got to meet you, but you have become a friend of mine. And I think the legitimate authorized ones that had commented, I think it showed 800 and some that was on there, that it picked out 2 winners this morning. So we appreciate all the comments. It was comments on our last on our video we did last prepping video, which was storing beans and rice. And if you commented on that video, I made an announcement we were going to be giving a giveaway, and one of those is a cup. It'll come in a box like this. It's a Cedar Creek Homestead coffee mug. I wished I could give everybody one of these. Give me a little sip there. But anyway, if I could, I'd send out. Some have asked about buying cups and T-shirts and things, and we may get into that later. We've ordered a bunch of cups just to give away from time to time as gifts to different ones. But as we go along, we might be able to get into. I see a lot of them are selling T-shirts and things like that. But if I, like I say, if I could, I'd just send every subscriber a coffee mug. And anyway, here is 96 True Crossword Puzzles by Mike Morrow. And anyway, this is very interesting. And if you don't, if you like crossword puzzles, and it has scriptures here to help you find the answers, and it's got the answers in the back of the book here, so you can go back here and look. Very interesting, very fun too. And a lot of this, you know, as I look through, I'm like, I know what that says. I don't have to, but some of it you got to look up. But anyway, he sent us 3 of these books the other day, so I've decided to give 2 of them away, and it also has in different languages. But if you didn't, the winners here, if you don't want the book, you could probably give it away to somebody as a Christmas. But it'd be really neat for young people trying to learn the Word of God. And then from Baker Seat catalog here, I've opened this one. This is actually going to go to Josie. She always wants one of these for Christmas. But anyway, this hot off the press. They just got these printed, made them available for 2021. It's called the Whole Seed Catalog. You can order these from Baker Creek Seed online, or you can go to Tractor Supply. Usually will have these available, but this is straight from Baker Creek Seeds, and they make a smaller version that they give away for free, but the Whole Seed Catalog is a big one. And man, they have some really interesting pictures and things in here of heirloom seeds, some very rare looking products. I was looking here for something since I'm wanting to, like right here, look at these white tomatoes. Did you even know there was such a thing as a white tomato? I don't know how that's going to pick up on the camera, but I mean, just very, very interesting if you're into heirloom. And one thing that's neat with heirloom seeds is you can keep the seeds back and grow them yourself. You can dry them out. And some have asked for information on drying and keeping seeds, and we're going to try to do some of that here. I'm fixing to do some okra seeds and show you how I do that. But anyway, you get those 3 things: the cup, the scripture puzzle book, and the Whole Seed Catalog. And Baker Creek Seed has got a place, I believe, out in California, and they have a place north of Seymour, Missouri. And we've been there before. A very interesting place. If you're ever going through Missouri and you get a chance to swing off the beaten path there at Seymour, there's a lot of Amish community stuff going on there. But you can head out north there, and my oh my, I have forgot the name of the bigger town up there where the military base is. But anyway, you can head out up that direction, and it's out in the country, pretty easy to get to, real rural, and a very neat little setup they got there. You can walk around the place, look around. They've got chickens and stuff, got an old jailhouse thing made there, got a cafe you can eat in, and I got a store where you can buy all their seeds. They just got all kinds of seeds. They even give you a free packet of seeds. I don't know if they're still doing that, but if you're there and on a visit, they were giving away a free packet of seeds. So if you get a chance to check out Baker Creek Seeds and this catalog here, it's just fun to set and look at. And I guess if there was a toilet paper shortage, these are kind of glossy papers, beautiful pictures, but I guess in an emergency you would just work for that as well. So anyway, I'm going to give out our winners here today. And 2 winners was Glenn Crowe. Glenn, C-R-O-W-E. And then Judy Lee, I think this is Judine, J-U-D-E-A-N, Judine Lee, and the number 1. So what you'll need to do, I'll have in the description down in the below the video here, in the About section of our email address. If you will email me your mailing address, a good mailing address, then we will get these in the mail to you, and the cup will come in a box like that, and then with your catalogs. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and I want to say congratulations to Glenn Crowe and Judine Lee 1. And I want to say thank you to all of you today, and I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving this Thursday, tomorrow, and the day after the airing of this video. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families, and we'll see you next Tuesday for another episode of Porch Talk that airs at 7 o'clock every Tuesday here on the Homestead. And I appreciate you watching. God bless you. We're gone.